The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
With so many people living longer, the fear of outliving your money becomes a reality for many of us. Will I be a financial burden? Will I outlive my money? How will I be remembered? My name is Neil Himmelstein, president of Main Street Planning Group. Please contact me by visiting mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. I will introduce you to strategies that will guarantee you will not outlive your money, that can guarantee you will not be a burden on your loved ones. Through a collaborative approach, we will uncover solutions that offer tax-efficient strategies, lifetime income, and legacy planning, choice, organization, direction, and education. That is the code we stand behind. Contact mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. And listen to me every Friday at 3 p.m. as I host the Main Street Code for Financial Success, right here on 103.9 LI News Radio. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. I'm here every Friday at 3 o'clock. If you happen to miss an episode, you can catch me on Apple or Spotify at the Main Street Code for Financial Success. And we talk about our code. We talk about choice, organization, direction, and education. And we help hundreds of advisors across the United States, including attorneys and CPAs and insurance professionals who need the correct solutions for you and your clients and yourself on how we can make your life better. And today we are very fortunate to have with us Joe Jordan. Say hello, Joe.
Hey, how are you, Neil?
Fantastic. I'm really honored to have Joe with us. Joe just recently won the John Newton Russell Memorial Award, which is the highest honor in the insurance industry for outstanding service to NAIFA, which I belong to, the National Leadership Conference in Washington, where he was honored on December 4th. Joe is an internationally renowned speaker for the insurance profession, as well as a founder of the Insured Retirement Institute. Very well accomplished. During COVID, I have to say, Joe, you were one of those people, one of those guiding voices that kept me in the game. And that's when I started this show, and it was very important to me. So, Joe, I wanted to ask you, we talked in the past about what do you feel is the biggest crisis today? We all hear about climate control, but there's other crises out there.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. One of the things I would say that really is impacting the world is all this discussion about global warming. I think the biggest issue is the aging population of the world. What people don't notice or don't see or isn't coming up is the fact we have a huge number of people who are retiring, which means they're taking money out of the system, and this is global. And you have very few births going on, which means those are the people who are putting money in. So figure it out. You got a problem on your hands.
Right.
And I think it's important to look at financial services from that particular context.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we talk about is guaranteeing an income for life. And you happen to have huge experience in developing annuity products in your part of your past life. Describe that a little bit, because the word annuity, sometimes people get, oh my God, it's had some bad press over the years, but we do a lot of work with annuities. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that was developed and what that means?
Sure. Well, I mean, it's an ancient product, and it's designed around the idea. Here's a concept from an insurance point of view. In life insurance, the people who live pay for the people who die, and in annuities, the people who die pay for the people who live. So there's no honky-panky going on there with regard to how it operates. The older someone is, the more income it can provide them. And since we now have people living a lot older, they could just substantially take a look and know that they could get a guaranteed lifetime income that does not stop, that does not run out of gas for the rest of their lives.
Right.
So it's a foundational piece that's there, and it's, you know what it's like? It's like Social Security, okay? And if you notice Social Security, you can take it at age 62, or you can wait to age 70. And the majority of people take it at 62, and that's bad.
Right.
Well, some have to do it, but if you waited to age 70, you get 76% more. So Social Security is there. It pays you every single month, and you can rely on it, and it's a foundational piece that provides you with income that you don't have to worry about running out of money.
Right. That's very interesting. So earlier this week, I was talking to a plumber who's about ready to retire, and he's getting a pension, which is nice. I went through all the pension benefits. He's got a whole list of 50% and 25% if you do this, and he wanted to take the maximum amount, and you know, with the difference, he actually said, I want to buy insurance so I can protect my pension. But the other thing he did, and he was quite the saver, and I mean, he saved almost $1 million in his 401k. He says, every spare dollar I put away and I invested. And his big thought process and his biggest dilemma is, okay, I've accumulated these assets, but is that money going to last me? And I like to talk to people about having a spending plan at retirement, not a budget, but a spending plan, so you know that your bases are covered. And annuities is a product that guarantees that income that we can convert to, that income stream that can do that, right? Is that kind of how you look at it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I also think it provides people with a lot of peace of mind, you know.
Sure.
You know, if you're looking for performance, and this is one of the problems with financial services as a whole, it tends to be a very left-brain analytical approach towards things, right. And it doesn't take into consideration the emotional parts that people have to go through.
Right.
And that's something that's lacking. So, you know, it's the idea that you shouldn't put all your money there.
No.
But it's the idea that you will have an absolute guaranteed source of income that continues regardless of what happens to the market. Because you know what happens from an emotional point of view. Think of this, you know, back in 07 to 09, the S&P 500 went down 57%. And so what happens is people get absolutely apoplectic and they get out. And you never recover from a 57% decline.
No.
So it's the idea that, yes, if you invest in equities, they outperform all the time, just not every day. But one of the accommodations you should have is diversify and have some of that income that continues for the rest of your life, and you know you can rely on it.
You know, my father, you know, saying that, you know, my own father who's passed away, but he was in the equity market all the way back from the 30s. I mean, he believed in stocks, he followed them. He was a veterinarian, but I mean, this guy had 80 stocks at one time, and he bought and hold, but he did buy one. He had actually an old MetLife insurance contract that when they went, I guess it was a public dividend thing or something. When they went public, that's right, they gave him like money, and he said, well, what am I going to do with this? So he bought an immediate annuity with it, and until he died, he says, when are these checks going to stop? It's like every month. I don't have to look at it. I get a check. And it's like, this is the best investment I ever did. It's like every month I get it. I don't have to think about it, and it's there. And you know what? It takes one of those iffy things out of your life. And, you know, I love the commercials where the guy's on the boat, and he's, oh, what do I have to worry about? You know, market goes up, the market goes down. As long as I got my guaranteed income every month, I know my bills are paid, I'm comfortable, and life's not so bad.
See, this whole idea of longevity is a recent phenomenon. I mean, it used to be you retired at 65, you took a boat to Ireland, and you were dead at 68, so who cares, right?
Right.
Now people are living longer, even longer than perhaps when they were working, and so that becomes a concern of theirs. And here's another point which is important. There are... the United States has more people, is the country that has the most people over age 100. Not Japan. Japan has more per capita, but the United States has more. But you know what? For every guy that's over 100 years of age in the United States, there's 6 women. So
wow.
Longevity is a woman's issue. Just as, and that goes two ways. One is on the annuity side in terms of a guaranteed lifetime income that they can't outlive. And then the second one is 80% of men die married, and 80% of women die single. So both of those risks really center in on women, and it's something that they should be cognizant of and know.
No, absolutely. I just had my aunt who just passed at 101 about a month ago, and there you have it. That's what happens. Well, you've been listening to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. You can always reach out to me at 631-647-4694. Visit me on the website, themainstreetcode.com. And Joe, if they want to find out more information about you and maybe get your book and look at some of the stuff that you've done, how can they get a hold of you?
It's very simple. It's josephjordan.com is my website, and you can look at my book and get some other stuff too.
Fantastic. And we're going to be back right after this break. Thank you for listening, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein, and once again, if you need to reach out to me, and I encourage questions, comments, or if you need help for yourself, 631-647-4694. And we have the Honorable Joe Jordan with me. Joe Jordan, who is a founder of the Insured Retirement Institute, and we could talk about that in a little bit. But Joe has dedicated his career, and he talks all over the world to his profession and protecting our insurance rights that we do with NAIFA, and we're there lobbying and protecting you, and there's a lot of things that have come up. And before the break, we talked about longevity and longevity risk, and we talked about annuities, about having an income stream for the rest of your life as part of your portfolio so that you know your bills are paid and things are taken care of. And one of the other things we talked about was longevity. Longevity risk is associated with long-term care and long-term care insurance. And Joe, can you go into that a little bit about, you were talking about women live longer and kind of some of the numbers.
Yeah, I will. And we talked about last time about the major impact that the world faces. I don't think is global warming. It is the aging population of the world. So there's just a couple of things that are important to note. And one of them is that, if you have a couple age 62 that doesn't smoke, there's a 50% chance that one of them is going to live 30 years to age 92. So that's a huge number. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of people don't know that. And actually, one of the things that's important to note is married people live longer. Why? I have absolutely no idea, but that's that,
right.
Right. And so that's an awful long time to be thinking about. Some people will live in retirement longer than they lived as a working person, Yeah. And that's why one other thing I just want to interject for a second is bear in mind that this is a new phenomenon, that people who retire to something are happier than people who retire from something. So one of the things that they've seen is that everyone can't wait to retire because it'll be smoking cigars and playing golf every day. After about 6 months, a lot of people, go stir crazy. So you have to have some form of meaning or purpose in your life later on. Part of your plan should not just be financial. It should also be centered around the idea of what am I going to do? How am I going to help others? What is going to keep me busy? And that's a major issue because they found that people who have a great source of isolation, it's equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The Surgeon General just came out with that. So one of the things to think about, which is new, is the idea of what are you going to do in retirement. Now, once you get there, the good news is that we're living longer. The bad news is we're living longer. So
right.
You may be alive, but you may not be healthy. And right now, what's happening is there's like a 5% chance that your house is going to burn. It's something like about 18% that your car is going to get blown up. But it's like 70% in terms of somebody experiencing a long-term care issue. That means that they have to have they can't work or they're disabled. And believe me, when people get get a huge medical expense. It can be really dramatic to them. The
absolutely.
other thing that I talked about was the aging population right now, and the fact that we're getting fewer children. In fact, the people who promote the idea of global warming say people are bad. The 8 billionth person was born in November of last year, and the UN said it's a carbon-generating curse. Unbelievable. But anyway, here's the point. Right now in the United States, there's 65 million family members that are providing health care to people who are on disability, and it's equivalent to about $37.5 billion every year that's happening.
Wow.
And so what's going to happen is, and 66% of those people that are providing the care are women. Once again, women come up with the short stick. So the point that I'm getting at is the idea that if we have fewer people being born, there's less people that are available to take care of people as they get sick. So there's a great guy that I know. His name is Nick Murray. He says it's yo-yo. You're on your own, and
right.
You really have to prepare for the fact that you might have an illness or you need care, and you're on your own.
Right. Yeah, very interesting. And there's another phenomenon that's happened over time that a lot of the financial people don't talk about, but the change in the family unit. I know with me, my son, we did such a good job. He's living in Denver. I did such a good job. My daughter's living in Hawaii. I can't really depend on my kids to help me in my retirement if, God forbid, I have Alzheimer's or I become disabled. It's not like they're going to quit their job and quit their life just to run over here. Maybe they will, but then what will that do to their lives? And if they have children, what will it do to their children? The impact of the family unit, which has changed dramatically, as well as the increasing likelihood that they can keep us alive forever with the medical science today, adds to this whole dilemma of this aging population.
That's absolutely correct, and there's a lot of emphasis putting on the idea of extending life, but you really have to look at the quality of your life.
Right.
And I would say the best legacy that anyone can give to their children would be they don't have to pay for them or to intercede, or maybe they have to live with the kids or what have you. It's the worst experience, I think, in the world is to go knock on the door of one of your children and say, I got to move in because I'm wiped out at that care. So as I said, you're on your own. You got to look into long-term care.
Right. And now long-term care, we talk a lot about that on this show because I think it's so prevalent. And the way the industry has gone, and I know, Joe, you used to design products, and I know you're not in that world anymore, but a lot of it has become the standalone long-term care carriers got it wrong when they came out with this product. The actuaries didn't figure we would live this long. So, and they thought that, you drop your policy, but nobody dropped their policy. So now people are seeing price increases and they're frightened. Oh my God, I haven't used this thing yet, and yet I got to pay more money, and I'm now 70, 80 years old. But they did take some preparation. So a lot of the industry is going towards having combination plans with your life insurance, like a hybrid, what they call a hybrid type of plan. So that's part of the planning. And what's right for one person is not right for every person, right? Planning involves individual planning, right?
Right. Well, instinctively people knew it was valuable because despite the fact that they're raising the rates, it's not what they call lapse supported. People aren't getting out. They're not stupid. They know they need this thing. Right. So the other thing, and you're hitting a good point, two things. One is that in life insurance and some annuities, they have some of these benefits, and something is better than nothing. Right. And, the ability to have both, and actually on the life side, a lot of people say, why would I buy long-term care? What if I don't get sick? Well, the fact of the matter is you're going to die. Okay? Right. And I know. I had a client say to me, should I buy this? This is like 20 years ago. Should I buy this long-term care policy? He's a very wealthy guy. Or should I buy the life insurance? He goes, what do you think? I said, well, odds are at the time that
you have a 1 in 2 chance. Now it's 70%. But at the time they were saying the numbers were 1 in 2 chance. That was part of the actuary issue. They didn't realize that people would use this stuff. I said, but, I can guarantee 100% at one point you're going to die. I said, you could buy whatever you want. I think you should buy both, to be quite honest. But, if you want to know what the odds are, yeah, you're going to die one day. It's no question. So a lot of people like the idea of having a combination, and maybe they're restricted in dollars, and but I compare it to like buying a stereo instead of buying the components. Is buying the insurance with the long-term care can be like buying a stereo instead of the separate components. The separate components are always better, but like you said, anything's better than nothing. You've been listening to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. Thank you, Joe Jordan. What a great conversation we had. And if you need to reach me, it's themainstreetcode.com or 631-647-4694. And Joe, how do they reach you?
917-601-3917, or they can get on my website, which is josephjordan.com.
Thank you so much, Joe, and have a wonderful day, everybody.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.